Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Tuesday, January 26th. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am joined with Mr. 81K himself, the football takedown specialist. He is here with me today to break down this weekend's PGA tournament. How are you, Mr. 81K?
I'm doing well, thanks. Yeah, good week, of course, with that football takedown, and now we transition through the middle of the week here and get ready to play some golf. You got to be able to hit the long drives, but you got to have some short game here to finish it off. So we're
Yeah.
going to use our skills to apply to the field here at Torrey Pines.
No doubt. This is a fun tournament. It's a beautiful tournament to watch too on the ocean there. Just gorgeous. But it is, as you mentioned, that the Torrey Pines Golf Club South course is where they'll play one of the two rounds, and then they'll play on the North course in the other round before they make the cut. And then the long hitters got to get ready for two big rounds on the 7,700 plus yard Torrey Pines South course, which that's a long course, man.
It really is. It is long, and it's not one of these birdie fests like we've had recently.
Right.
I think the record score is about 21 under, but you'll see some six unders and then anything in between. And I actually, looking at the past results, I got to show you what this course is capable of, because this is where they're going to play the U.S. Open later
Right.
this year on the
Yep.
South course. And back in 2016, in this Farmers Insurance Open, the final round they had some rain and some wind. Listen to the final scores of these guys in the fourth round. Okay, Brandt Snedeker won it with a 69 in the fourth round. Has tremendous course history here.
Yeah.
But listen to the guys who finished second and down with their fourth round score that year: 76, 74, 76, 77, 77, 76, 6, 76, 78, 76, 77, 77, 73, 78, 75, 78, 77, 80, 77, 72, 80, 80, 82 from Gary Woodland, and
Ooh.
on and on and on. I mean, it just ate these guys up because it's so long, and then you add
Yeah.
in some weather and some wind. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think a lot of the studs here are going to really grind, make sure they make the cut, get two more competitive rounds in on the South course to get ready for the U.S. Open.
Yeah. I mean, this is a big plus, and that's why the field is so good, in my opinion. I mean, it's always good here, but it even seems a little deeper, and I think that's because everybody wants to get, practice in for the U.S. Open. And three rounds on this course in tournament golf is the best thing you can do. But again, like you said, this is one of those courses that's a lot of fun because it completely depends on the weather, and the course plays totally different. Like you just said, if it's beautiful weather and calm breezes, they can play some target golf. It's long, but it's still birdieable, and there's some eagles available too. But if the wind comes up and shifts around and swirls, or it's a little wet, guys don't know what clubs to hit. That's what I've seen in the past. And then it becomes just, who's going to survive, like a U.S. Open course. So I'm sure it won't be, the rough won't be as grown out, and it won't be quite as difficult as it will be for the U.S. Open, but it's still going to be a test. I mean, I like the fact that you can't just play the big bashers, because even though it's 7,700 yards plus, you can't just spray the ball all around like you can on some of the long courses. You still have to be in play, or you're going to be in the water or in sand or something, and create some tough stuff. And this is another course where you have to land the ball on the right part of the green, because if you're out of position, you're staring at a three putt or worse from that point. So this will be a fun one. I'm looking forward to watching it. Again, I enjoy West Coast golf because you get to watch more of it in prime time, and see how the guys are doing. So anyway, good stuff this week. I look forward for your complete evaluation, but I'm going to start you right out of the chute, see if I can get you a stunner here, since you're like 40-1 on the quizzes. This is going to be a tough one today, but I'm just going to go right for it, and I'm going to see if we can catch it. All right. I need the 3 favorites to win this event flat out. No misses. You miss one,
Okay.
it's over.
All right.
Okay.
Um, I mean, top guy in the world has a win here. John Rahm, got to be
Yes,
top three.
he is the favorite. It's plus 650.
Okay.
It gets a
Another
little
guy.
dicey here because this is where I thought I could catch it with one mistake.
All right. Well, if Rory McIlroy is not in the top three, I don't know what to do. So I'm going to have to go with Rory.
He is plus 750 second choice. And this is where I think I can get you.
Boy, this is tough. So we've got Koepka here in the field. We've got Patrick Reed. We've got Tony Finau. We've got local guy Xander Schauffele. I'm going to go with the guy that I'm interested in this week. That's Tony Finau.
I knew you were going to guess him, and you lost. I gotcha. It is the local Xander Schauffele, who's 10-1, and Tony Finau's fourth at 17-1, plus 1,700. So there's a pretty big spread there. I think, the bettors are really Rahm, McIlroy, and Schauffele, but I would have done the same as you. I would have gone Rahm, McIlroy, and Finau because Finau is playing pretty good golf, and we haven't seen Schauffele in a while, I don't believe.
No, not
if I'm
since
not
Hawaii.
mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me give you the real quick betus.com.pa rundown. Just going to go blow through this really quickly just to bring up some of these names. So when Andrew breaks out all of his knowledge here and gives us some of the stats to look at, if it rings a bell and you see that they're in the top 20, that can sometimes push some decisions to roster some of these guys. So it goes Rahm, McIlroy, Schauffele, Finau, English, Reed, Matsuyama, M. Hovland, Koepka, Leishman, Scheffler, Watson, Wolf, Kim, Scott, and Day. So really good field. Good day, good tournament. If you're going to put a few nickels on some guys to win this event, you got a lot of guys at 30, 35, 38 to 1, like the Hovlands and Schefflers and Koepkas, guys that can absolutely rip off a win at any time. So I think it's going to be a really good event there and a good competitive one that you can bet on. So, all right, give us some analysis here so we can start narrowing down our choices.
Okay. One of the stats I looked at was strokes gained from 200 yards and farther out. So strokes gained approach over 200 yards.
Okay.
I looked at last year and this year because with this 7,700 yard South course, you're going to get a lot of longer approach shots. So here's some guys in this tournament this week who finished in the top 40 in this stat last year. Number one is Will Gordon, who's actually very cheap. He's been inconsistent, but there's a potential value play. Phil Mickelson's actually 10th in this stat. Wow. Another local guy who has been struggling. I would have never guessed
that.
Our man Tom Hoge, who let us down last week.
Yeah.
But he finished 5th here. I believe it was last year. So he knows how to get around here. He's cheap again in the 6K range on DraftKings.
Okay.
Good old Hideki, Rory, Scott Stallings. Here's a value play for you. This gentleman is only 6,600 this week on DraftKings, 7,800 on Fanduel. He has a win here. He has a second place finish. Last week he played at the MX, missed the cut, but right on the number, and he shot a 567 in the second round. So I like that profile for a guy who's only 6,600.
That is a value. You just ooze golf value, man. That's just what you're about.
That's what we try to do here, no doubt. Continuing down the list, John Rahm, of course, Jason Day. Jason Day, by the way, changing his swing, changing his clubs this week. So he's a real wild card. He's been dealing with the back injury. He's trying to change his swing path a little bit to stay healthy. Another guy.
You know what? He's won this 2 out of the last 6 years. I mean, that's got to carry weight. But man, when guys switch clubs, Yeah, when guys switch clubs and all that, that's scary, no doubt.
Exactly. Victor Hovland can get it done from distance. Jason Kokrak, obviously a big hitter. Mark Leishman, talk about course history. This guy just owns this course. He won it
Yeah,
last year.
defending champ.
Yep. He's had some other good finishes. Uh, he finished second the year that Stallings won it.
Yeah.
Sungjae Im is in this category. Jordan Spieth, he's his first event in this calendar year, and then Tony Finau and Wolf round out the top 40.
Yeah.
And then for this year, this current golf season, the guys who rank highly in the strokes gained approach from over 200 yards, your man Lahiri is at the top of the list for the guys who are playing this week.
Wow. Number one, huh?
Well, he's sixth, I think, but
Oh, okay.
the other ones
Okay.
aren't playing this week.
Gotcha.
Then we've got good old Bubba. We've got Gary Woodland, your boy Will Zalatoris.
Yeah, he's due to get it going, I think.
Yep. Ryan Palmer, Will Gordon again, Corey Connors, and Wolf. So those are some names to keep in mind, and it's a little bit surprising. Some of those guys aren't the biggest, strongest guys like Zalatoris. So and Lahiri. So those are some guys who are going to feel comfortable with the hybrid or the long iron in their hands, try to approach these greens.
Yeah, and what's amazing, a lot of those guys that you mentioned, in watching so much golf, I just can see them. They hit drive, and then you think, okay, wow, that's got to be like a 3 or 4 iron. They got a mile to go, and they pull out like a 6, and it's like, how the hell do you hit a 6, 255 yards or whatever the heck that those guys hit it? But man, some of them just can. It's amazing the length they get off of those mid irons. It's just crazy. I want to mention real quickly, because normally when I talk about past champions, because that gives such a mental advantage, because you've defeated the field, you defeated the course, and usually there's only 2 or 3 scattered in there. But this has such a long history of guys that are playing in it still that have won it. So just real quickly. Starting with last year and then moving backwards: Leishman, Rose, Day, Rahm, Snedeker, Day again, Stallings, Tiger Woods, Snedeker, Bubba Watson, and then it goes from there. Now, this is a great stat. In 2013, 2008, 2007, 2006, 2005, and 2003, Tiger Woods won all 6 of those. Isn't that crazy?
He owns this course, this event.
Oh my God. It's amazing.
It's really unfortunate that he's hurt and can't be here. And by the way, if you missed the NBA podcast that we did today, emotional day here, especially for Coach, on the 1-year anniversary of Kobe's passing. And I still remember that day, because this tournament was being played, Tiger started hearing references about this during his round, and then he was interviewed about Kobe right after he got off the course, and he gave a very heartfelt tribute to Kobe. And so it's just all coming back into the forefront, where we all were a year ago when we heard the news. Yeah,
again, and we've been talking about it and tweeting about it and talking in Discord. And really, it's such a somber feeling and so difficult, it's to bring up the memory of last year. So I really just trying to turn it and make it a day of honor for Kobe and Gigi and just, the accomplishments and basically what he's passed on, because what he had done in his career obviously changed basketball forever and has affected so many players. And we're going to see that tonight in the NBA games. We're going to see that in this golf tournament. Everybody's going to be wearing, his number and his colored shoes and his just, all sports are touched, and not just sports. I mean, he was such a girl dad, as that was such a catchy thing at the time, promoting women's sports and coaching and being a great dad. So, just phenomenal memories, very tragic, but it's Mamba mentality, and that's, what he's passed on. And a lot of people really zone in on that when the times get tough. So definitely shout out there. And I think I believe it was this final round last year of this tournament. I think it was on a Sunday that it happened in the
Correct.
morning.
Yep.
And yeah, it was just amazing to see how many people it touched. But I think you'll see that throughout the weekend. And again, it'll be more so to honor him now, not to grieve as much, because now it's time to take up what, if he was here, I'm sure would tell us, get up, get going, just double time it now and get it done. So you are absolutely right. But yeah, it's a shame. Tiger, actually, he has won this, I think, 7 or 8 times, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a shame he can't be here. But again, my point for bringing that up, you got a lot of guys in here, and Leishman, Day, Rahm, Snedeker, etc., that are going to give it another crack and have already beaten it before. And then a lot of guys that have been runners up that have been really close here that have done well too, in Stallings and Palmer's here this week. Ryan Palmer, and like you said, old Phil. So you got a lot of guys that have had success here, and we have to watch the weather and see how that's going to affect things too, because some of these guys are just have a terrible record in bad weather. Some of them could fight through it. So, right now it looks okay. But, right on the ocean like that, you never know when some wind is going to blow up, and it's going to cause some trouble. But it's a fun tournament. There's no question about it.
Yeah. And one other stat I want to get to here is strokes gained around the green.
Okay.
Because with all these long approach shots, you're bound to miss the green occasionally, and who can get up and down. So some guys who've been strong in that category this year. Our man Steve Stricker, who let me down, he was a value play last week, finally missed the cut, but he's back here playing for the second week in a row. He's just phenomenal around the green and with the putter, of course. Siwoo Kim was the man around the green. He was like allergic to bogeys.
Ridiculous.
winning the American Express last week. Xander is right up there in that stat. Koepka, Hadwin, Hideki, Molinari, who was a strong pick for us last week, value play.
Yeah.
He paid off. Ben On, and then Bubba Watson again. So those guys get a little bump from me because of that stat.
I'll tell you, there's looking at the odds, and I really recommend you guys check out the betus.com.pa odds to win this event, Farmers Insurance event, because there are some crazy odds on big numbers of guys that can really be in the fight. I mean, Doc Redman is a battler. He's been he's been right in there, and he's 125-1. And then I know he's been terrible, and the odds show it. But do you remember the day where our man here, Jordan Spieth, was favored every event?
Right.
Now he's 80-1. He's down there by Taylor Gooch and Carlos Ortiz. So who knows when he gets the magic back? You just never know. And then guys like Zalatoris, who I keep predicting good things with, Kokrak's played well for me. They're 60-1. So there's some good plays out there for those that want to put a few bucks on who's going to win it too. There's nothing better. We've both had this happen a few times when you've got a real competitive DFS team that needs a good Sunday, and you have your guy that you bet flat to win it, and he's in the thick of it. That is sweetness right there.
Yeah, it really is. I wish Jordan Spieth the best. I'm not ready to put even a nickel on him to win.
No,
not
a free square for me as a free square.
Right.
But I'm rooting for him.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, I mean, this is a fun field. It feels like the year is really getting going. When you start with that tournament in Hawaii, the Tournament Champions, where it's a small field. Now we're getting the full field events. Now we're getting guys playing for the multiple weeks or consecutive weeks. And that's part of the reason why I'm really looking at a Finau this week, because he was top 5 last week, and the guy just needs to get the monkey off his back and start winning. And he's been really good on this course. I like, we always listen to interviews. We look for edges, and he's really talking positively about the little swings in his game, the swing changes in his game, how he's trying to make improvements. He's feeling like he's really right on the verge. So maybe this will be the week for Mr. Finau. I'd love to see that.
It's hard not to root for the guy. He's like the nicest guy on the course, it seems like, and but he just doesn't finish on Sundays. I
No, he
mean, I've
doesn't.
had him a few times, and he's in perfect position, and then you just see he melts down a little bit on Sunday. So it's hard at that price to roster him. Now he makes you feel great because he's going to probably make the cut, and you'll feel good about that because you got to get all your guys through the cut. But then he just punches you in the gut on Sunday, and I don't know. I would
Well,
imagine once he breaks through, then he'll that mind will switch will happen, and he'll go from there. I hope so.
well, and you've done a good job of fading him, because of that lack of winning ability. And so maybe you can just have your cake and eat it too by if you get on him a little bit this week and get him when he wins, you'd have the best of both worlds because you haven't wasted much money chasing his first victory in previous tournaments.
Yeah, I'm definitely considering him. Usually, on this podcast, I'll be saying I'm not playing him because he can't finish, but he's getting closer. And for DFS purposes, if he doesn't win it but finishes third, beautiful. I'll take
Yep,
that. It's
exactly.
not like the flat bet that you're making, but you get some top five guys, and we've done a great job the last 2 or 3 weeks with the Webb Simpsons and different guys that we just locked in as top five guys. And man, when you get that, that gives you a good foundation to build your team, no question.
Absolutely. Well,
So what else you got?
maybe just one or two more value plays.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, how about a mid-tier guy who has excellent course history here, Charles Howell III. He had multiple runners-ups to runner-ups when Tiger was winning every year.
Yeah.
CH3 was finishing second and
Mm.
collecting a nice big paycheck, and he finished. He had a second to Rahm 4 years ago, and he's only 7,500. So he's again another guy you can feel pretty good about making the cut. Pretty decent chance to give you a top 20
Okay.
in a big field. So I like that price. And
Yep.
then in terms of the real cheap guys, John Huh is on my radar this week at 7,000. He always seems to make the cut here. He finished tied for 21st last week.
Okay.
Our man Bronson Burgoon made the cut for us at 6,100, I think it was.
Yeah.
Now he's up to 6,500. But he's okay here. You could look there. Again, Scott Stallings $100 more. I like him better.
Yeah.
Your man Lahiri, who just missed the cut by one, he's 6,400.
Yeah. He
His
missed it on the number. That
Yeah,
was really painful, but he's still playing good golf.
yep. And then Scott Brown's another 6K guy who's had a top 10 here. You could go with in it. GPP only. That guy, he'll miss a bunch of cuts and then he'll spring that top 10 on you. So these are guys where you mix and match. You try to get one or two so you can afford one more stud on DraftKings. It's a lot easier to get that third stud on FanDuel with the
Yeah.
pricing this week. It's tougher on DraftKings.
Yeah. I mean, I found myself on FanDuel going with like what we say in basketball too, the stars and scrubs kind of thing. Three studs, and then you put in those 6,000 and 5,800 guys because there's a lot of them in that range. But I'll tell you, this week I'm going to use a little bit different strategy because I never know what to expect from Rory when he jumps in these tournaments. Who knows? I mean,
Right.
he could win it or he could miss the cut. I mean, he's just
Yep.
and for that money, I don't want to play there. Finau, I'm debating. I don't know about Rahm right out of the chute either. So
With a
I
back
don't
issue.
with a back issue. There's questions there. And, is he sharp? He's probably taking some time off to rest the back. So, I'm not going to go in the big pay up spots. I'm going to try to build some, real good mid-level guys that have been performing well, that have at least a round under their belt, and try to build the foundation there with a couple of your value plays, and maybe a Zalatoris and those guys that are mid-level. And I think, my goal is to, get this group through to the cut. I'm going to try to take guys that I feel pretty confident that they may not win the tournament, but they're all going to make the cut and garner points because this is a week that I think you'll see a lot of lineups take one or two of those chalk guys at the top And if a couple of them miss the cut and you've got your 6 grinders going against their 4 guys that made the cut, I'll take the 6 grinders all day.
Yeah, well, you've been trending up with your PGA hybrid lineups, just really solid, balanced. A lot of guys making the cut and solid cashes week after week. So I like the sounds of it. I can picture it already, and I look forward to playing it.
Well, I've 16 of my last 18 guys made the cut, and one of those that missed it was the gut punch of my guy last week that missed it on the number.
Lahiri.
Lahiri, yeah, and he had chances to make it. So I want to keep that string going. So if you want to check out our selections, they'll be in there tomorrow. We'll have them up for the Thursday tournament, and they'll be in Discord. We'll have Draftkings, Fanduel, and Yahoo picks up, and we'll be chatting about them in there. And to get in Discord, come and join us, dfscoachtalk.com. You can sign up right there for as little as a week. And we have several different packages. We also have a great offer with our partners, betus.com.pa. If you sign up with BetUS and make your very first deposit, you deposit $149, which you can bet on anything in sports. You can bet a couple of these guys to win this event. And then we give you a free membership to DFS Coach Talk all the way through April. So it's not one of those too good to be true. It is what it is. You get the $149 to play, and then you get a free membership with us here at Coach Talk. So take advantage of that. It's not going to be available for but a couple of more weeks. So we'd love to have you join in that way. If you have any questions, you can reach us directly on Twitter. We're all at DFS Coach Talk. Andrew is at Language Olympic. Shane is at DET Sports Shane, and I am at JOESARVADI. So we'd love to have you. We'd love to. And one last thing I'll ask real quickly before I turn it back over to you, Andrew, for some closing thoughts on golf. Is if you're watching this on YouTube, real quickly, our big ask: please take a second, hit the thumbs up. That's important, and hit that subscribe button. That's very important. That really means a lot to us. And if you want to make sure you don't miss when these podcasts drop, hit the little alarm alert button in the upper corner. That'll send you an alert every time one of our basketball, football, golf podcast posts. So you'll want to catch that. All right, give us a little wrap up here. Any other picks? Like, who's your number one buy-up guy other than Finau that you think could win this sucker? And then give us couple closing thoughts, please.
All right. I'd say my one other buy-up guy is probably going to be Xander.
Home course,
basically. Rahm's got the back issue. Rory is just hit or miss. Xander, he showed up in Hawaii. He was fine. And I think he's been, back home prepping for this. And he's one of those guys that's looking ahead to the U.S. Open. So he's probably the other guy I would pay up for. Reed can't go there after he missed the cut last week. So that's where I'm looking at. And then final thought there on the membership, just to clarify, if you get that BetUS package, that goes until April 1st. That's your free membership with us. So that is the steal of the year for value. So yeah, we'd love to have you join the community. We're having a lot of fun.
No question. Well, good. Thank you very much for your insight there. Hopefully you could put a few base players together here. The nice thing about golf is we don't have to worry about all these crazy scratches and changes and lineup shifts. I mean, you can get pretty settled in, get your lineup set, and then, double check everything with us in Discord on Wednesday when we post, and then you're good to go. So looking forward to a great Farmers Insurance Open tournament at Torrey Pines. Can't wait to see them tackle that South course at 7,700 yards. So we'll definitely be watching, and we appreciate you guys watching this podcast. And we'll be back again tomorrow for NBA, and then we're weekly with PGA, and then of course we'll have Andrew and Shane with the Super Bowl special at some point coming up here. So that ought to be a blast too. All right, thank you again. We hope you guys have a great day, and we'll catch you again tomorrow when we look to crush it in DFS.